All right, so today we are going to talk about a condo policy and all things related to condo policies for homeowners insurance policies for closing or just to make sure that you're properly covered. Some people might think, well, I have a condo and the exterior is covered by the HOA. I don't need coverage. But what if the elements of the exterior fails and starts to damage the inside of your unit? Who's going to cover those costs? What if a pipe breaks inside your unit and you damage all the floors below you? Who is going to cover that? Better yet, what if your unit caught on fire and you need to gut the unit out and rebuild it? Who is going to cover those costs? Right? So today we are going to just review the basic of condo insurance. A lot of times when you call around and you ask for a quote and you say, I'm not responsible for the roof, it's just a condo, but we still ask you, so when was the roof last updated, right? Because the newer the roof for the insurance company, we're thinking the less probable cause of you calling in for a claim due to the roof is leaking into your unit. So that's one of the main reasons why we ask. In certain states, because we do business in about 20 states, but in certain states where there's hurricane prone, especially in Florida, it is always a good idea, once you start talking to the HOA, ask them for the roof form for insurance purposes so that they can give you all that information that you need in reference to the roof. Now, when you get into a condo policy, we're really insuring the interior. And most insurance agents will use anywhere between $45 to $65 a square footage to calculate the rebuild cost of your unit. So for an example, a unit that is maybe 1,000 square feet might only need, $50,000 to $60,000 worth of coverage on the interior. So when you look at your condo policy or your condo quote that you receive, you'll see the first word is dwelling. The dwelling for a condo means basically if we had to gut the inside of that unit and rebuild it, that's how much the limit is going to be paid out on the condo. The next coverage item that you'll see is personal property or contents coverage. Basically, those are items that you moved in with: your clothes, your furniture, your bed, your couch, or more importantly, also take consideration personal property is also your refrigerator, your dishwasher, anything that if you turn the condo upside down and can shake the condo out and falls out, that is your contents limit. So think about it when you're thinking about contents. The next limit on your insurance policy when you're a condo owner is loss of use. If, let's say for example, a storm came by or there was a fire and your unit was damaged and you need to gut the unit, rebuild the unit, you most likely won't be able to live inside the unit. So we will pay up to a percentage on your policy in the loss of use section to allow you to remain at a hotel, and we'll reimburse you for those costs. Now, if you got a mortgage on the condo, you still got to keep paying the mortgage on the condo, even though we're paying for your loss of use because you're living somewhere else. The next limit on your insurance policy is usually liability and medical payments. They go hand in hand. Usually medical payments is $100,000 and usually liability limits is $100,000 and medical payments is $1,000. You can always increase those limits. And basically those two limits are if someone was to sue you for a number of reasons due to personal injury, slander, and so forth, they can sue you for those limits on your insurance policy. Usually when someone is suing you, there is no deductible that is going to come out of your pocket. However, usually mostly on an insurance policy, there are two deductibles. There's one for hurricanes and then there's one for all other kind of claims such as water damage, fire damage, theft. That's one deductible, but your hurricane coverage is always separate. Now, just because you have impact windows doesn't mean, and let's say you don't have a mortgage, doesn't mean you should try to get a policy that exclude wind or hail coverage or hurricane coverage, because that same hurricane can come into your unit by the force of the winds through the impact windows, because those windows are only able to sustain a certain wind speed. So after you get over to a certain wind speed, it could potentially damage the inside of your unit. So if the inside of your unit is now damaged by water, but when we ask you, so where did this water come from? And you said, well, it was caused by Hurricane ETA, then we will say, you know, you don't have hurricane coverage. So don't think just because you're living in a brand new condo or it does have impact windows that you shouldn't carry wind or hail or, let's say, hurricane coverage. Please at least entertain the policy to see what the price would be with and without it. So those are your limits on your condo policy. Another limit that you want to make sure is water damage coverage. For example, if you're living on the first floor, you might not be thinking about water damage. But if you live in a condo unit where there might be 5 stories above you and you're on the sixth, or you're on the 6th floor, you know, if your unit subsequently damages all the units below you, you just want to make sure that your policy does have water backup and sump overflow. And it's a broad term, so just if you're in a condo, look at water backup. If you were in a home, you would be thinking about sump overflow. So just think of it, you know, normally it's a very nominal fee to add to your policy, but it's a very good coverage to have on your policy. There's a lot of other policy coverages that I can review, but I just want to go through the gist of it. Usually if you're closing on a condo, the lender will let you know if it's escrowed or non-escrowed, which basically means, hey, get a policy, give us the bill, and we will pay for it at closing. And just an FYI to close, when you take out an insurance policy, we're really not trying to get all your personal information. We're really just trying to ask you questions to see what your prior claim history was, and also in the future, what we should be looking out for, whether you have a dog on the property, or if we ask you if you have an alarm system, it's not to see how secure you're being. It's really to see if we can give you discounts on your policy. We might also ask you if you're a vet, if you have any military experience. Sometimes also I realize a lot of consumers, they don't like giving date of births. And I really want to say, hey, I'm asking your date of birth to see if you qualify for a senior discount. Some people are very proud of that option and some people are not. And we understand. But in my best interest, I'm just trying to get you the best quote when we ask you questions, or the team asks you questions when they're giving you a quote. I hope this video was at least a little bit informational to you and touch the surface of an HO6 policy, which can be an HO6 owner occupied or HO6 tenant occupied. So make sure you also tell your insurance agent how the unit will be used, and if it's going to be changed, you need to always send an email to your agent saying, hey, the occupancy type have changed. And final, you do get your renewal every 30 to 45 days before renewal. With some companies, it's way sooner that you'll get your renewal. That gives you the option to review your policy, call your agent, talk to them, or make sure that this is the right rate. Maybe you've gotten a rate increase of over 45%. You might want to shop it. You might want to tell your lender, hey, you know, I'm shopping my insurance policy and I think I found a new option. So look at all those terms. But when you're thinking about insurance or having questions and need answers, ask me. I'll be able to assist you, or just visit our site, Universal Property, where you can quote instantly and even bind your insurance policy online. At the end of you taking the policy, you do get an instant proof of insurance that you can easily send to your lender for payment, or if not, you can certainly pay for your insurance policy yourself with various means of payment options. When you think of insurance, just think about the fact that you're transferring the risk of paying out a claim yourself out of pocket, whereas the claim will be paid by the insurance company. Getting short.